Is the draft lottery happening in the bubble tonight? Walk me through this. What's going on with the draft lottery this evening, sir?
Yeah, the lottery is happening. It's kind of, it's unique circumstances, obviously, because it's all being done virtually. And, for the most part, for the last 5 or 6 years, I've been in that draft lottery room kind of observing, because it's kind of cool to see how the whole thing plays out. It'll be entirely different this time around. But, man, there are some high stakes in this draft lottery. I can tell you a lot of top executives out here are, kind of nervously watching, wondering if the Warriors wind up with that number one pick. The Warriors will have as much a chance as anyone. I mean, look, if you're Golden State, and look, to be clear, it's not a great draft. I mean, I don't know who's number one, whether it's Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman, LaMelo Ball is in that mix. But if you have the number one pick and a big contract you can move in an Andrew Wiggins, which the Warriors have, you might be able to get somebody big. And I don't know who's available right now, but somebody always comes on the market, whether it's circumstances for a team or something else. And if you're armed with a top pick and a big contract, you can get something that get a player that fits into the timetable that Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green are on. So the Warriors are kind of sitting back right now, being goofy on social media, but they're the elephant that's not in the room, so to speak. I mean, everybody's going to be watching that draft lottery night. I guarantee you, just cringing if the Warriors wind up with number one.
Well, let's stir it up. Give me some names that you think the Warriors could add with a Wiggins dangle, as you say, because they've got the number one overall pick in their back pocket.
It's just hard to say right now,
right?
Because the teams I've talked to, like a lot of teams, are going into next season believing they're contenders, at least for a playoff spot. I mean, look at the Western Conference, Rich. Who's the worst team in the Western Conference next year? I mean, probably Minnesota, you'd say off the bat, but the Timberwolves will have, 2 All-Stars in Towns and Russell and a young group that gets better. Look up and down those standings. It's a fight 1 through 15. So I don't see a team outside of maybe San Antonio that could be looking to move off, a player, and you don't trade the top pick for LaMarcus Aldridge. So it's hard to sort of see the landscape right now, but as it always happens, a team changes direction in the offseason, maybe makes a coaching change, or a new GM decides that a player is not as valuable as the other previous regime thinks he was. So somebody's going to be out there, and the Warriors are going to be more armed than anybody else to go and get that player.
Okay, so how's it going to look tonight? Like the deputy commissioner Mark Tatum in his basement on one Zoom, and then the ping pong balls on another Zoom, and then nervous executives on their own Zoom boxes. The Knicks will try to choose somebody from their past that actually can stand being in the same room as James Dolan to stand there and try and be lucky for them, and won't be lucky because Dolan's karma sucks. I've set this all up for you. Chris, is that what it's going to look like tonight, essentially? Did I lay it out?
Basically. I mean, it's everybody beaming in virtually. Each team will have their usual, kind of goofy representative, from that group, and it'll play out like that. But it's just going to be fascinating to see who winds up with those. I mean, the Knicks, I think they've got their eye on LaMelo Ball, and God, I mean, if LaMelo and LeVar wind up in New York, I mean, I don't know. I don't
please
know how
let that happen.
My gosh.
Please.
Oh, my God. LeVar from Los Angeles, you're on the fan? Is that what you're saying? Like, that's the way it's going to look?
I mean, play it out a little bit further, Rich. I mean, you put LaMelo in New York, and you've got Tom Thibodeau there as well. The idea of LeVar Ball lobbing grenades at Tibbs from, section 115 of the Garden, once they get back in there, that's got to make I know it makes some Knicks executives extremely nervous. So it's that's a scenario that could be some interesting copy for the tabloids in New York.
I should say so. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.